Like it was just night and day, really. Like 6 months ago, 4 months ago, then I was really questioning why am I running an agency, because it was just staff issues and, we were doing 5,000 different things for 5,000 different types of clients and it was just all over the place. And then just all the advice from you in terms of scaling back and focusing on core services and niching down and all of that stuff. It removed all that junk. And yes, it was bad for a month or two because we lost some big clients because of that, because they were like, okay, well, we've got to find other people. But I had to take that pain to be able to grow and to grow the agency. And now, so now we've got leads on tap. So we've got lots of leads coming through every day.
Yeah, you're saying like 3 to 5 a day, to whereas before you didn't even really have any lead. It was more to say,
yeah, we had nothing. There was nothing on the horizon. It was
like the friends, friends, family referral kind of thing, right? You're talking
exactly.
About have a plan. You didn't do it with intent. Like I'm saying,
No.
intent. Yeah.
And I think as a marketer, I always say this is that it's always strange when marketing companies can't get their own leads because you think, well, dude, you're a marketing company. You should be able to create leads. And I think I held off on marketing for so long or putting in proper funnels because subconsciously I knew that if we started getting 5 leads a day, we wouldn't cope. So I knew that was there and subconsciously that stopped me from actually implementing those funnels because I was just like, man, if we do get 5 leads a day, I don't know how we're going to fulfill this work because we got no system, we got no processes.
You were right. No. And you were in the situation you were in I think February when we sort of, I think it's February. Yeah. Situation you were in February, if you were getting 5 leads a day, you would be buried right now. You'd be completely buried because you would have been selling pretty much any damn
thing. Because I'm doing sales, I'm doing fulfillment, I'm doing like everything. Yeah.
And now you're only doing like websites and Google AdWords, paid ads, very limited services. Yeah. And I absolutely love the story. You got this guy begging you to take him on as a client's attorney. That's badass. Yeah. Again, in February, friends, family referral, wondering where and how am I going to get my next lead? Well, if I do get another lead, what am I going to sell them? So now you're getting 3 to 5 leads a day. You know exactly what you're going to sell them, and you have an attorney literally.
Yeah.
Please take.
Bashing my door down. Yeah. 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 So it's night and day. So I think the biggest takeaway from the last 6 months of working with you like the golden nuggets. I mean, we've got tons of golden nuggets, like, some project management stuff that we've implemented that started working really well. But the biggest thing was sort of sorting out our services, scaling back our services and just focusing on getting, offering key services that we can do. Because I think the biggest mistake digital agency owners make is they go, well, we're a digital agency. We can do everything. We can do email campaigns. And the problem is that yes, we could do everything because I could do everything, but my staff couldn't do everything. So, then I would get a client and they would say, can you do a cold email campaign? I'd be like, yeah, I've done tons. Cool. This is what it involves. I would sell it. They would go, perfect. Let's do it. And then I'd hand it over to my staff and they would just be like, what am I doing?
What is this? Yeah. What is this?
What is this? Even with some written processes and stuff, they've never done it. They've got so then I end up doing the work as well. So, yeah. So, I've been running an agency for 6 years and I only realized that, 3-4 months ago. I was like, the agency actually can't do shit. I can do everything.
Yeah. But
the agency.
And by the way, the thought process that you had, I had it too. I think everybody kind of comes out. We can do everything, and you can, by the way. And back in the day, even 5 or 10 years ago, that was actually not as difficult as it is now. Everything is so vast now. No social media. If you're not entrenched in it all day, every day, there's no way you're going to know the cutting edge. What's going to work. Same thing with AdWords. Same thing with builders. All these the builders that are coming out, Beaver Builders, Thrive, all that stuff. That's a completely different ballgame than even 5, 6, 7 years ago. So you have to be entrenched in that stuff. And so limiting your offerings and getting down to a product line, like a very simple product line, is a game changer. That is definitely the biggest. I would say the second biggest thing though is your ability, like I said, to turn that faucet up on leads. You went from you actually had like 2,000 people in your data. I can't remember, 1,500 or 1,700 people.
Yeah, there's about 3,000 people. Yeah.
3,000 people. And man, out of that, dude, you drove 27. It was just crazy. Old proposals. You started actually consistently email marketing your list. Put the Google AdWords out there for the smaller things, and now, boom, consistency, 3 to 5 consistent leads. 3 to 5 leads a day. That's badass. That's huge. That's such a peace of mind there. And again, when you got that kind of leads, you have people begging you, please take me on as a client, where as opposed before, please let me serve. You know, so it's a complete role reversal from 180.
Huge.
Huge.
Yeah. And also, I think because we pulled back on our services and we focused on only sort of core services, it allowed me to build really good, strong funnels. Because now you can just focus on that. And, you know, our Google Ads funnel is crazy good at the moment. You know, our website funnel also is very simple, but it's working. You know, we're getting website audits daily through that, my web auditor.
Yeah, cool.
And, you know, I do the audit, and like, I'd like to know who created that, because I've got some like things that I'd like him to improve on the system, because there's some stuff. But anyway, so I do the audits, and I do a video audit as well. So whilst I'm auditing the site, I actually record myself with Loom, and an audit takes me 15 minutes. And if that lands me a $3,000 web job, oh man, like I'll do 15 minutes all day long. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so I film that video, I send them the audit, which is, you know, it's an amazing audit. It's very detailed and whatever. And it's accompanied by a 15-minute video, which I think works so well, because it's not just a case of me putting it through a software and the software telling you, hey, dude, your website sucks. It's now someone actually commenting and saying, well, dude, this is why you need a number in your header. This is why you need a contact form on this page. This, you know, and then you can go through it. So, you know, we've got a really good hit rate with that website auditor. I think 80% of the audits that we send out with videos end up in some sort of work, not necessarily a redesign, but like, you know, us jazzing up the SEO or CRO
putting some lead
optimization.
magnets on there. It could be any number of things, you know, like the SEO, it could be any number of things.
Yeah. So the funnel is working nicely, because we're driving traffic with Facebook to the website, and then we're retargeting those people with a free website audit. And it is just like, it's so simple, but it just works. And, yeah, so those things that, I mean, yeah, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Look, my agency isn't, how can I put this? Consistently profitable, because in terms of reliable sort of monthly retainer income, it doesn't really cover all of our expenses. So there is still a portion that we need to cover with new sales each month. So I still want to get my agency to a point where every single expense is covered with reliable income. So it's like that, you know, so that I can go to bed at night and know that if I don't make a single sale this month, at least there's money coming in and we're covering expenses.
Well, think where you were 6 months ago, where you are now, and so
where you'll be.
Exactly. So trust me, it's coming. It just takes a little time. Anything worth having in this world takes a little time. You know, I mean, it takes a little time, and hell, in the process, when you got sick and riots, there's been a lot going on, man. So And by the way, I wish I could take credit for it, but the reality is this: you did the work. You know, I mean, you're the one that got up there and really put in the time. The difference is now you're working on items that can work for you for a long time, right? Before you'd kind of see fire, put out fire. Next thing you know, come back out the next morning. The damn fire's back. You know how did that fire? What happened? Now you're actually working on things that are going to work for you, like that. For example, your email marketing, your funnels, the SOPs for your product lines. All those things will work for you for the next 5-10 years, right?
Yeah.
But you've got to get in place. And so before it was kind of like okay, I need to do this, just do it. Boom, here we go, back out. What needs to be done now? And then boom, do it, right? Yeah. And next, but you weren't thinking them through, like, how can this be done in a way I don't have to keep it fire? Yeah. And so now that paradigm shift in your mentality, that is the light bulb I try to get everybody to go off on their head. It's easier said than done, don't get me wrong, but you know.
No, definitely. And I think, but look, again, it's why I started my business, because I enjoy working on the business, and I enjoy the process stuff. And there's a lot of agency owners that hate it. So I find myself very lucky because I enjoy the process stuff. So it's nice for me to sit at my desk each morning and go, cool, what am I doing today? What am I fixing today? What am I implementing today? Instead of going, you know, man, I got to do design, or I got to do website stuff, or I got to do marketing stuff. So it is just, I mean, there's a fair amount of stuff that I still do, sure, but it's getting less each day. Like my work schedule is getting less.
Yeah, you were saying a while ago, 6 months ago, you'd come in and the next thing is like, you know, shit in the face. One thing after
just
the next.
All day, man.
Now you sit out at your desk and you're like, well, what am I going to work on today? You know what I mean? Of course, you got it mapped out. You got it mapped out. But You have to think about what I'm going to be doing this week, because I'm not completely inundated with fires or problems or having to call and get that invoice paid so I can make payroll or any of those kind of stuff. That's outstanding.
And it's allowed me time as well to look at processes within the business that I thought were quite solid and going through them and actually looking at them and saying, well, actually, they're not solid. They need to be relooked at and revamped. Like, one thing we do now every morning, which again sort of comes from the advice you gave me in terms of, I forgot what you called it. There was a morning meeting and an afternoon meeting, and you would call one tailgating.
Yep. They come actually. I got the idea out of the construction industry, and in the construction industry, I actually never worked in the construction industry. I just did. I did OSHA. Nothing against it. I just did OSHA consulting. Long story short is that they have what's called tailgating meetings every morning, and so with you, you have what's called the like morning calibration call, and then you have a daily download. Okay, so in the morning, where you and your entire staff get on the same page, you go through the projects. What are you doing here? What are you doing here? You got everything you need. You got everything you need. So Chris's time is down to what really Chris needs to focus on, making sure that his team has all of the moving pieces that they need, like login credentials and Photoshop or whatever the hell it is, whatever that is, right? So then and your staff members in that call say, yes, Chris, I've got everything I need. So later on in that daily download, when Chris asks them, did you get this done? Yes. And it's usually a non-issue. And if it's not, then you ask them, why not? Why didn't you bring this to my attention in this morning's call? So it's all it is what's called an accountability rhythm. I learned the concept from when I was doing some OSHA consulting 25 years ago. But where I got it put into place was I don't have the book back here, but Jim Collins taught me about what's called an accountability rhythm through the Infusionsoft leadership team. And I'm gonna tell you right now, there's very few things in this world that are so easy to implement that get such a huge return on investment. Oh my gosh, man, that morning meeting, just have it for 15 minutes. The first couple will be probably about an hour. It's a pain in the ass. You're gonna think it's the worst thing ever. But get through those first couple.
It's man. Let me tell you. So I've got a friend. He's a friend now, but I was on a couple of agency groups, and he contacted me out of the blue on Facebook and was like, "Dude, I've seen the stuff you do. You're amazing. Blah 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 blah. I'm an agency owner." He was working in Ireland then. Do you have any advice for me? So I've sort of taken this little guy under my wing. And helped them out. Anyway, so he had this exact same problem. Their projects weren't getting run properly. And then I was like, man, I've got some advice for you. And I was like, morning meetings, afternoon meetings with your project manager every single day. And he did that. He implemented it, the same meeting structure. And I sent him a message the other day and I was saying, how's things going? And he's saying like, man, it's like, again, night and day.
It truly, it's remarkable. But you know what? It makes a huge... In the coaching program, I get pushback on that as much as anything. They think that I'm just adding free busy meeting work. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. Again, everything I coach on comes out of me learning the hard way. I did it. Oh crap!
I'm one of those people that likes learning the hard way too.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I'm a glutton for punishment. I don't know what that's about. But but man, these things work, and it does at first. It's a little awkward. Like I said, it takes about 2 weeks to kind of really get into the rhythm of it. And all these different things. So just man up or woman up or power through that first couple of weeks, and it's a game changer. It is a game changer.
So that we did that. So when probably about a month ago, when this new lockdown hit, and we all had to work remotely. Well, actually, I got COVID, so we had to close the office down, and everyone had to go home and quarantine and whatnot, right? Yeah. So we all had to work remotely anyway, and we use Teamwork as our project management system. And it's great, but there was still a lot of our developers and designers were still relying on sort of verbal briefs within the office. That's one thing that if you work in an office, it's much easier to say, hey dude, bring me this, as opposed to, briefing it properly through something. So when this lockdown hit and I got COVID, then my project manager, Brandon, started doing, he called them COVID catch-ups, but it's essentially this rhythm of meeting in the morning, meeting in the afternoon. We've changed it since now to afternoon pulse and morning pulse because we got the idea from rhythm. So it's like a heartbeat. So daily beat,
that's your
pulses.
Heartbeat,
yep. And so that's it. So we've named everything around the heart.
That's how successful CEOs and successful entrepreneurs manage multiple companies. This simple rhythm, they can come in and they'll meet with one company between 8 and 9, the next company between 9 and 10, the next company between 10 and 11. come back, do the same thing in the evenings. They're running 3 companies, successful, all of them multi-million-dollar companies, but it only takes an hour or 2 of their time a day to run each company. Now, you got to get your systems and processes and leadership. They're much more further along before you can do that. That's next level kind of stuff, but that's ultimately where this can lead up. That's how they do that. A lot of people wonder, man, how do successful people do it? How do they run 5, $10 million companies? Well, one of them is accountability rhythm. Obviously, another one's strong leadership at each company, and then KPIs. There's a lot of factors that come into play, but at the top of the list, those are definitely how you do it. So.
Yeah. So, and Brandon implemented like an Excel spreadsheet that he was managing it through. And anyway, he was managing it, and it was working really well, actually. Like, the teams were doing their things, because in the morning we would set the focus for the day. In the afternoon, we'd sort of just, catch up and see what was done and wasn't done. But going back to the original thing is that now that I've got time on my hands, I looked at this process and I was like, well, we're duplicating work because we're doing stuff in teamwork, and then you're taking it over to this Excel spreadsheet and you're doing it there again. So I spent this whole week figuring out how to basically take that process and put it into teamwork. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with my boards, where you build your own sort of like board in teamwork. Like, I built my boards. I restructured entire project. And again, going back to an earlier point, it allowed me to look at processes and templates within our system and go, man, that template sucks. And this thing does, just because I've got that time now to go back into my agency and fix these little things. So so we've got a whole new My Board setup that pulls in every single task from every single project into the board. It's ordered by priorities.
So for and how that maps out into the real world, like if they're in the daily download, you're going through there and you're seeing it on your project board. Well, they didn't get quite completed. So now you got to move it to the next day, because it's not like you can wait 2 years to get to, you got to move it to the next day. And so you'll take that project board and move another item from the next day to the following day. In other words, it just allows you to bump task and move task and manage task. And so it's a visualization of what's going to have to happen that day. And it allows you to manage it from day to day. And like I said, if it's on a Tuesday and it's a 4-hour task, you thought they were going to get it all done on Tuesday, but life happened. Something happened where they just couldn't quite finish it that day, right? Well, you can't, again, the next open spot's 3 weeks out or 2 weeks out. So you can't do that. You got to wrap that task up, right? And so you got to move something the next day, move it to the, you got to move it. And that way your boards will automatically just adjust, and it kind of pushes things out and things like that. So it's wonderful. Yeah. We actually had to build one.
So that's it.
They didn't have those boards in Teamwork. We used Teamwork at my agency, but they didn't have those boards. We actually had to build that custom. So we did that custom in house until they came out with the job board, the boards over there. So pretty cool.
Yeah, so man, and I enjoy stuff like that. I enjoy fixing those processes and finding faults and finding better ways of doing work. So it's good. So now I feel like the agency's in a good place. I mean, more sales and more leads can't hurt. But so there's still work to be done, but it's much better than it was. That's really
it's a massive transformation. And again, I can't tell. I mean, I know tools and the systems, but ultimately it's going to boil down to the agency owner just stepping up and doing the work, right? And so you got to just make sure you just get your wife to pat you on your back, or don't hurt your elbow. Pat yourself on the back, because you nailed it, man. You nailed it. That pain point had gotten high enough where you're like, dude, I'm going to do whatever the coach says. And you did it, man. You did it. And it really has really, real huge returns. And most importantly, returns in your quality of life. That's the thing. That's why, and my whole purpose statement is to make your life easier. And so when I hear you make these kind of comments, I'm just like, oh man, that does my heart good. You know what I mean? So I can't.